Marisa Mariella, and welcome to My Easy Kitchen. I am so excited to be part of the Hamilton City Magazine, contributing with my menus and recipes. We're going to have a lot of fun together. When I say easy kitchen, what I mean is that it's going to be delicious. It's going to be real and authentic. We're using real ingredients, and you know it's going to be uncomplicated. My job is to inspire you to get in the kitchen and get cooking or baking. And that's what we're doing today. We're baking. We're doing my favorite, all-time favorite chocolate cake. In fact, I'm not even sure I really want to share this recipe just because it's so good, so easy and delicious. So let's get started. So in my mixer bowl, I have all my dry ingredients. You know, one place that people mess up on is how to measure flour. So I already have 3 cups of flour measured out, but this is what I want to show you. What you're going to do is you're going to spoon the flour gently into the cup, trying not to make a mess. And if you make a mess, big deal, just clean it up, right? Okay, and then you use the flat side of the knife and just spread it out. That's 1 cup of flour. Some recipes, it's okay if you kind of dig in there with your scooper and, you know, pull out a cup of flour, but when it comes to baking, you really do need to be a little bit more exact. Okay, so I have flour. Okay, don't judge me. Look at all this sugar. All right, I already hear you saying, oh my gosh, that's so much sugar. Okay, when you go to a restaurant and you order one of those decadent pieces of whatever dessert they have, you don't think that has sugar? That has sugar. And you know what? You're not going to make this cake every week, maybe just for those special occasions. So that's cocoa. Did you see the price of cocoa these days? Make sure you buy Canada brand, okay? The cocoa that Canada imports. And so we have here a little bit of salt. And so we had baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Okay, we're gonna give this a quick little sift. So this is the part where I usually get it all over me. Okay, I'm gonna give this a sift and I'll come right back. So let me just tidy up here. So we have all the dry ingredients in there, and I have here buttermilk. So buttermilk does freeze well. So if you buy a container of it, and obviously you're not going to use all of it, then just freeze the rest of it. I've got here some oil, some neutral oil. You can use grapeseed, avocado, whatever you prefer. And I've got 3 eggs. I have to thank my friend Miriam. She goes out to Mennonite country to get me these beautiful eggs. So I just love how fresh they are, and the yolk has such a beautiful color to it. Okay, so you get the idea, right? All the wet ingredients. If you're a little bit nervous about cracking eggs, crack them in another bowl and then put them in here. Okay, we're gonna go get this, give it a good beat for about a minute. Use your paddle to mix for about 1 minute, and then stop the machine and scrape the bottom with your spatula. Now it's ready for the water. So this is warm tap water, and you're going to add it in additions. Make sure you slow down the machine, or else you're going to be wearing that batter. And every so often, just scrape the bottom, and it's done in another minute. All right, take a look at the batter. It's pretty thin, but it makes such a moist, delicious cake. I forgot to add the vanilla. I kind of just eyeball it. So I'm gonna give it, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon or so, good enough. And I'm gonna mix that in, and we're ready to prepare the pans. So preparing the pans, I'm going to lightly grease the bottom. But first I want to show you how I prepare the parchment paper. So I have 2 round pans, making lots of crinkling noise. I'm going to quarter it, and then divide it again like this. Use the back of the pan, kind of find the center of it, and then using scissors, I'm gonna just cut right on the radius, actually, the radius of that pan. So when you open it up, you have a circle that fits. So using some of the scrap parchment paper, I use a little bit of the softened butter. So I'm gonna get the pans ready here. My oven is preheated 350 degrees. These will cook about 40 minutes or so, but you're gonna use your cake tester to be sure. So when you use the parchment paper, I buttered the bottom, okay? This is a little hack. So you spread that on, and now I'm gonna take that off. There it is. That side is buttered. That's the one that goes on top. Done. Sprinkle a little bit of flour. Give it a little shake. There. And we're ready to pour the batter. So we're going to eyeball it. You could actually measure, but we're gonna just eyeball it. Remember, this is home baking, and your family and friends are going to love this cake, and they're not gonna notice if one is a little bit bigger than the other. There we go. You can already tell this is going to be delicious. They're so versatile that it makes delicious cupcakes. And to keep it a little bit on the neat side, I use my little squeeze bottle. And I go about 2/3 way full. You could even do a sheet pan and make a jelly roll out of this recipe. It's so good. The cake is baking, and I've actually made a few cupcakes too. You'll see those at the end. We're making frosting. This frosting is so delicious. It beats anything you could ever buy from a can, okay? So I've already started sifting the icing sugar and a good quality cocoa. And I don't know if you can see me through all the dust here, but the sifting really is the hardest part of this. See that? I love it. You know, you make a little mess sometimes when you're baking, but that's okay. All right, so I have it in here, and I have here 3 sticks of butter. I've doubled the batch of frosting. It freezes beautifully, and I like to go a little heavy on my frosting. So I'm gonna put that in there. It is at room temperature, and we're gonna add some milk, but first let me set it up on the machine. Once I've sifted all the dry ingredients, I'm slowly going to start the mixer. Remember that that butter needs to be room temperature, and very slowly add some milk. You're going to scrape the bottom every minute or so, and really what you're looking for is the consistency to spread on a cake. So you might need to add a little bit more milk. You judge. It's got to be very smooth and spreadable. So the cakes have cooled. Make sure that they are fully baked. You can use the toothpick test. So when you insert the toothpick, it comes out clean. And then cool on the rack for at least a few hours. And you don't have to slice off the top, but it does make for a nicer presentation when you go to frost. Plus, see this? See this? This is mine. I'm gonna eat that later. All right, so I'll do this for both and then set it up, and we're ready to frost. So I'm ready to frost, and I frost right on the platter. See these little strips of parchment? I just tuck them under the cake, and that helps to keep the platter nice and clean while I frost. Okay, there we go. So how would you like this as a gift? A huge bowl of frosting. So we're gonna go generous. You know, I was just talking to Meredith about people who don't appreciate chocolate. I just don't get you. You know, if you're a vanilla person, I like vanilla, I really do. But you give me chocolate any day of the week. So I'm going to fill right to the edge. So let's not compare ourselves to the master bakers that are on TV or at the bakery shops or on Instagram. We're gonna just have fun frosting this cake, okay? So I've leveled that off, so that's gonna go on the underneath like this. So the bottom is up. And now, look at this. Pour on that frosting. Do you think that's enough? Maybe we should use more, I don't know. So I'm going to spread it out. You could do a very thin coating and then put it in the fridge and then continue to frost. That kind of seals in all the little crumbs. But you know what? This is for my family and friends. I'm just gonna keep it real. So I've just kind of spread that right to the side and then pour it over. And I'm using this kind of like mortar. You know, my dad was a bricklayer. So I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna fill in those little gaps. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and decorate it with strawberries. So I'm going to just tug at these very carefully. And it's gonna look so professional. Your family and friends are gonna think that you spent hours making this cake. Remember what I said? Easy, uncomplicated. And to decorate it, really just keep it simple. I have some beautiful fresh strawberries here. So we could cut them in half and then, you know, go all the way around. We could do that, shall we? Okay, we'll do that. And I've got some beautiful chocolate here. I could grate some on the top. If you have, if you still have Halloween candy or candy from, or chocolate from Valentine's or Easter, you know what? Chop it all up and do a nice little mound in there. Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Just make this cake your own and your family and friends are gonna love it. All right, so final touch, a little bit of dark chocolate. I wish you were here. You could have a slice, so, but now you know how to make it, and so you can do it on your own. Look at this cake. Okay, shall we cut it into it? Got the coffee going, let's take a bite. Moment of truth. So ideally the cake should really sit for a few hours, but who can wait? I can't. Okay, it just glides in so lovely. Oh my gosh. And they say that the first slice is always the hardest. So we'll see if that's true or not. Okay, I'm just gonna go in there again. I'm using this. So do you know what this is? This was actually used at our wedding. How many years ago? It was a long time ago. Okay, I'm gonna clear that off. Here we go. What a massive piece. How does that look? There we go. This is my piece. I'm not sharing. Okay, I gotta clean my hands and give this a little taste. Oh, look at that frosting. Look at this. It goes right through. And I'll just do a little piece, little bite. Wow. Oh, what a hit of chocolate. You've got to try this recipe. I'll post it on my Instagram website. Make sure you make this for your loved ones.
Marisa's Easy Kitchen is made possible with the support of Nardini's Specialties. You simply must come in for the Nardini's experience.